Hi, I'm Seth, and welcome to PC Parkour. Today I'm going to be showing you around a $600 budget PC that I've built for my nephew. We'll kind of go through what each part is and why we chose it. It's mostly a gaming, but he's also interested in doing some video editing and potentially streaming. So let's get into it. Here's the parts list for the build. Total cost around $630. Here's our ASRock B450M Pro 4 Micro ATX motherboard. Picked this one up specifically because it had some upgrade ability in the future. Able to go to 64 gigabytes of RAM, 4 DIMM slots. Has a heatsink available in the VRAM. It's also the B450 chipset, which is one of the nicer chipsets for the AMD boards. Here we are removing the bracket for the heatsink that's usually there with the AMD boards. They come pre-installed, but most of the newer CPUs have a screw-in method for heatsink attachment. And there's our RAM. We went with Team T-Force DDR4 3200 megahertz, 2 sticks of 8 gig for a total of 16 gig. We channeled it dual channel mode in A2 and B2 DIMM slots. Could have went with the other pair of DIMM slots. The main thing is you want to keep spacing between your RAM in order to get full dual channel capabilities. Here's the Ryzen 5 1600 CPU, just kind of letting it drop in there. Don't want to touch the top of it or anything if you can help it. And then another wonderful thing is that the thermal pad is already attached to that heatsink as well as fan, so just kind of put it in place, line up the screws and tighten it down. You want to do a cross pattern, a few screws on each one so as not to over tighten it or tighten it unevenly, so that you got good contact with the full processor. Missed the screw there. And here is a SSD M.2 256 gigabyte hard drive. One I already had, so just went ahead and used it for this build rather than sourcing something I didn't need. Mainly for the operating system and any sort of programs that you want to run kind of quickly. The storage drive is a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda, 7200 RPMs. I don't have any pictures of it going in because the way the case is set up, there's a power supply shroud, so it's kind of hidden away. Just one of the reasons why we picked the Fractal Design Meshify Mini C case, because we wanted that power shroud. The screws for attaching that M.2 drive were included with the motherboard. So here's our Fractal Design Meshify C Mini Black Micro ATX computer case. Got a tempered glass window, it's a mid-tower, has a power supply shroud, great airflow at the front, being all mesh, pre-installed with 2 fans. It's just a cool looking case. Due to time constraints, we've moved ahead in our program. Here I am installing the motherboard. The I/O shield as well as the motherboard standoffs were already installed. Saved you the 30 minutes of me doing that. Here I am attaching the front USB to the motherboard. Already attached all the other front panel stuff. At the bottom right you can see those cables coming in. I like that this case has a lot of locations for you to run cords, helps with cable management. Putting in the front fan here, Motherboard has 4-pin, but this particular fan is a 3-pin, so just making sure I didn't have a 3-pin I could use before putting it on the 4-pin, which is absolutely alright. Works the same. So here we are with the power supply, running all the cables through that shroud, nice and out of the way. It's a 450/80 plus bronze rated EVGA. Really like their power supplies. Usually try to buy those when possible. They are sleeved cables, even though it's fully modular, and it also has black cables instead of ketchup and mustard. So connecting the 24-pin to the motherboard. It's the main power source for anything that's fed power from that motherboard is that 24-pin connection. Most of your power supplies have a 20+4 pin, which is what is present there. That way they can work with different types of motherboards. Here we are connecting the 8-pin CPU, which is where the power for your processor is coming from. Kind of difficult to see that from the angle I was at, so I had to kind of look through the top openings to see, make sure I had that connected correctly. And we're installing our 1650 Super GeForce GTX video card. For a sub $200 video card, I just feel like it's one of the better values. Wanted to spend that money on a nicer case and a nicer motherboard. Make sure we got them, fast, 16 gigs of RAM, so we didn't blow the budget or spend a third of the budget at least on our video card. Hooking up the 6-pin power connector for that video card. Again, most power supplies have 8-pin, so that's why you see that extra piece there. Zip tying the excessive cable to kind of hold it in place. And I like to cord manage while I'm building and route things as I go. That way I can kind of make sure I get everything where it needs to be. There we go, kind of tuck that out of the way and make it look nice. There's the power supply going in. Here's the final product. Happy with how it turned out. I think it's a really clean looking case. There's a cord management on the back side as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
And this is actually your computer. It's your Christmas present, but they wanted to give it to you so you could play it this summer.
Yeah, right.
No, it's your computer.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's your computer.
I'm calling BS, bro.
No, it's yours.
No,
It's yours.
no.
You can take it home with you.
It's a full BS.
No, it's your computer.
You were talking about like, oh yeah, we're building you another one in the future. Taking the stuff from this one so that way you can actually...
No, it's your computer because I'm gonna have to send you home with an HDI monitor, which is why I'm letting you play on that one.
Why didn't you wait till the end of the stream?
Because apparently Papa's watching and he's already bored.
I don't really know what to say.